Everybody, welcome to the Not Moved Podcast hockey show in the Wickets. I'm the Dollface Gremlin, and as always, my two friends, my two compadres, A Train and Southgate. How you doing tonight, A Train?
Good, good. How about you, Graham?
Doing all right. How about you, Southie?
I'm hanging in there.
Good. As always, Southie's going to do us a good job of. We only got a couple games on the docket, so he's not going to, have probably too much to update us on. But he's still going to be filling us in as the games go by when he gets a chance. But right off the top, we just want to take the time to have a nice little moment of silence for the NHL reporter Jesse Pierce, who unfortunately passed away recently, her and her family. So we wish them nothing but the best. It's a loss for the Minnesota Wild and the Minnesota community and NHL community in general. So nothing but love and positivity towards their families, and I hope they're able to recover from this. All right. Thank you all for joining us in that. We really appreciate taking just those quick seconds to remember them. We all have losses, and it's nice to just be humbled by this and realize that we all have good friends and good places and good families. So, but moving on, we are going to start off hot. Tonight, we are going to do two NMP player profiles. One is going to be of two teams that are rivals, the Calgary Flames and the Vancouver Canucks. And A Train, we were going to start with Matthew Coronado from the Flames tonight, the young man who is actually, he looks a little bit like he and the rest of that Flames team have just had a down year, but he is still a young man that we're looking forward to watch in the future. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
There you go. Now we got you. All right, so Matthew Coronado, of course, he was drafted in the 2021 NHL entry draft. He was number 13 overall. He's a U.S.-born player. Traditionally, is playing right wing. So far with the Flames, he has adjusted nicely at the NHL level. The first year, typical like most NHL prospects, just very young, so didn't get utilized. And then as of course he's growing, last year was really a great year for Matthew Coronado. Now, as it stands right now, the Flames just really are having a down year in general. He though is one of the bright spots for the future. Matthew Coronado is locked down until 2032 at a nice price too. The Flames did a great job of locking him in at 6.5 per. We just saw Kirill go for the Minnesota Wild go for 17 a year. So with the Flames locking in one young talent, hopefully this is going to lead to them getting with how it looks this year. They might have another NHL top three pick, possibly. Maybe they'll find someone to pair with him. A Train, Matthew Coronado, young man, he's only 23 years old, and it seems like he's just going up, isn't he?
Yep. After a strong 47-point rookie season last year, he's continued to be a fixture in Calgary's top six power play unit. So they do have some upside there. He's been heating up following the Olympic break. He won Forward of the Year, I see, in 2021 season. And he has in college and an all rookie team in college as well as some of the accolades I saw for him.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Matthew Coronado. I think that he's going to be a potential Olympic addition at the next Olympic Games for the U.S. team. He's so young, and he does have just a lot to work with development wise. He has a bright upside. That he has such a quick release on his shot, which we've been able to see this year, especially in last year. Last year, especially like you said, A Train really his breakout year. 24 goals in that 77 game span, which is great. He's just picking up the pace. That has dwindled this year. 70 games, he only has 19 goals, but sorry, 16 goals. But, there's time that he might get over that 20 goal mark and at least use this opportunity for loose play to kind of experiment, maybe get a little bit better on his own terms. He is now one of the top power play. He's tied for most power play goals on the team at 7, which is that's good to see from a young man. He's already excelling on the special teams aspect. But as you and I, Adrian, we've talked about before, unfortunately, the Flames are just in no position to win right now, and he might be suffering a little bit because of that.
Yep, and that's the teams we're going to be hitting on, especially heating up into this playoff race once we finally get into this playoff race for the Stanley Cup. So, let's get these teams out of the way. Like I said, he is a bright spot on that team, though.
Yeah, the Flames, of course, we were discussing they are 34-7 this year, just not doing so well which is unfortunate too, because they are in a lackluster Pacific division, which we'll talk about later. Once again, that division just looks disgusting from afar. But I do like Coronado. The Flames do have Sharangovich. I am interested to see if he is going to stay there. He's locked in as of right now till 2030, and they do seem to have a bit of chemistry here and there. But Coronado, I do think they're going to hang on to, and who knows as far as Sharangovich is concerned, if he's going to be there for a while or not. And of course, they got Kevin Ball, that defenseman. So I believe they're going to build off Coronado and Ball. But Coronado, I like. He's a fast guy. He's quick. He can use his edges very well. And I'm excited to see what he brings for the future of the Calgary Flames. And, in general, that Pacific Division hopefully makes it a little bit spicier, huh?
Yep, facts. I like that, Graham.
Well,
So,
real quick, Pasternak scored 1-0 Bruins, and the Rangers are down 2-0 on the road. McNabb and Robinson, Toronto.
oh, wow.
No shocker there.
Yep. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting. We're going to talk after we do this next player who we're going to go a little bit longer on. I know Matthew Coronado, we didn't go as long as probably some of you would like, but we're trying to hit these. Like A-Train said, we want to go long for him when we talk about these playoff teams when they're in the playoffs, because more likely than not, you might see us more than once a week when the playoffs are really hitting a stride, especially for important nights. But we'll get cross that bridge if we get there. But next, I like this guy, Adrian. I know we've talked about him a few times. I'm very excited to just have a little discussion about him. Brock Besser from the Vancouver Canucks. I really have always liked Brock Besser. I think he does get criticized for his lack of speed and his lack of skating ability, but for a guy who gets criticized for that much, he's still been able to put 220 goals in the net for his 10-year career thus far. With year before last, that playoff run that they had, where he really did a great job in the first round against the Nashville Predators there. Now, Brock Besser, of course, is part of that 2015 draft, which has a lot of interesting names that you and I talked about before, A-Train, namely Connor McDavid, number 1, Jack Eichel, number 2, Dylan Strome, 3, Mitch Marner. So we've already covered Mitch. We've already talked about Mitch Marner on this draft before, but Brock Besser, A-Train, what do you have to say for him?
And he remains a cornerstone for Vancouver Canucks team that's obviously struggling. He's serving as an alternate captain this season. I don't know if you saw that. After a career best 40-goal campaign in the 2023-2024 season, he has been the star on a difficult rebuilding team for Vancouver. Some of the stuff that I looked up and saw, that he has a full no move clause, right?
Yeah.
So he's been heating up in the month of March. So he has that under his belt. I saw that he was Rookie of the Month in 2018. His 2018 accolades are very impressive. Rookie of the Month, All-Rookie Team in 2018, an NHL All-Star in 2024 and 2018, an All-Star Game MVP in 2018, and also that Skills Challenge MVP.
Yeah, I like Brock Besser a good bit. He does. Those are some of the nice accolades that he has. But what I'm looking for Brock Besser is that I really wish he could stay healthy for us to get more from him. I know he struggled with injuries throughout his career, which is unfortunate. But overall, he was number 18 in that draft. Or sorry, I'm completely wrong on that. Brock Besser was later in that round. He was number 23. Sorry. But he was number 23 in that draft. And out of that 2015 draft, which of course Connor McDavid and Jack Eichel lead, He's ninth all time for the scoring out of that, and that, given the teams that he's been on that have been so up and down, I'm really impressed with that. That speaks a lot to me, especially, a lot of people have criticisms against his consistency. He does have a lot of scoring slumps. That's true. He does go games where he's not producing a goal. He'll just pot an assist here and there, and I I don't like the contract value. I'm not gonna lie. 7.25 million. We just talked about their rivals, Matthew Coronado. Matthew Coronado's making 6.5, and he's only 23. Now Brock Besser is only 29, and in hockey, that's relatively, he should be in his prime right now. It's relatively still a good age to continue, but um, he has been shown the ability, like you said, A Train, to get over the 20, 30 goal mark and 40 goals, in that 23-24 season where they really were at the peak of their powers with Elias Pettersson, JT Miller, Thatcher Demko playing very well in goal. Um, but what stood out to me about all these seasons is that's the only season that he has a plus in he's a negative 67, a minus 67 for his plus minus career,
Right.
which that kind of speaks to the slowness that people are talking about, right? And his
Yep.
inability to skate quickly enough.
Yep. I think we hit all the points that you pretty much hit on. When I was looking at these accolades, because I like to look up a lot of their accolades when we do these player profiles. I'm like, really good 2018 season, good 2024 season, and that's really been it.
Yeah, and I think now with the Canucks, they seem like they're in full rebuild mode. With the exit of Rick Tocchet and he went to the Flyers, that's when they had that season where he had his best production was with Rick Tocchet at the helm. Now this is going to be interesting to see. He's always in trade rumors, and I fully expect him to be in trade rumors again this offseason. I actually think someone might pull the trigger and he might go somewhere finally.
Yeah, right. He's always the name that's always circling every year. That you totally hit it on the head there, Graham.
My Penguins, for some reason, are always one of the teams mentioned in the mix for Brock Besser. I don't know if it was because Jim Rutherford was their GM for the time, and
Right.
he was a former Pens GM, but it always made me laugh.
Yeah.
But now we are going to go ahead and take just a quick break. We appreciate you folks sticking with us. We're going to bust right into some of the important talk. I know we didn't go as long form as we usually do on some of these players, but we really did want to get these two teams out of the way simply because, sorry, folks, they are not that good. So I'm going to hit the commercial. We'll be right back. Stick with us.
No, but Friday nights, 9 Eastern, it's the Dribble NBA edition on the Not Moved podcast. We break down the week, the trades, the highlights, everything around the league. Tap in, chop it up with us, and get the takes that move the game forward. Stay not moved.
If you're craving baseball talk that doesn't flinch, tap in with us Monday nights at 8 Eastern.
It's the Rusty Mitt MLB edition of the Not Moved podcast. Breakdowns, debates, all the swings and misses without the fake fluff.
Join us live or catch the replay wherever you get your pods. Rusty Mitt, not moved. Stay not moved.
Tap into the Not Moved podcast every Friday night at 8 Eastern.
We're bringing the scrap sheet, UFC edition.
Every jab, every takedown, every headline.
All the fights, all the drama, all the picks, right here.
Watch live on YouTube or listen anywhere you get your podcast. Hit follow, hit subscribe.
And stay not moved.
Tuesday nights just got louder. Ringside Rewind is live every week, 9 Eastern.
We're breaking down Raw, SmackDown, and everything leading into the weekend. If it happens between the ropes, we're talking about it.
Deep dives, hot takes, and a few surprise
and
replays.
A whole lot of arguing.
Yeah, but the good kind. Ringside
Every Thursday night, the Not Moved podcast drops a new episode of
In the Wickets,
our deep dive on everything around the NHL.
We break down the plays, the trades, the stats, and the stories that matter.
Plus, a few hot takes along the way.
Join us live at 8 p.m. Eastern, or catch it on your favorite podcast app right after.
Same energy, same on.
The world's game has a new home. Tap into the Not Moved podcast every Sunday night at 9 Eastern. It's the football edition, and I'm bringing you the El Uncle Max attack, everything World Cup, every angle, every goal. Breakdowns, laughs, and all the passion in the pitch. Stay locked, stay ready.
Morning bettors, welcome back to Angling the Odds on the Not Move podcast.
Every Monday and Friday, we tear into the lines, probabilities, and hidden edges across the boards.
We run the numbers, chart the trends, and find value plays so you can tilt the odds your way.
Live at 10:30 Eastern. Mark it, lock it, and join the conversation.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for hanging with us through that break. We do appreciate that. Please check out all the other shows. We got the Dribble coming this Friday at 9 p.m. I know it's during some March Madness, but we will be able to give live updates during the show. Also, we do have, if you've checked out Robert's podcast, Ringside Rewind, always on Tuesdays, following obviously Monday Night Raw. Jimmy is holding it down every Friday with the MMA show. And of course, we might have some extra shows coming up here featuring the boys, A Train, JB, Coach, all of us. It's going to be football time. We're going to be talking about covering what we're doing for the draft this year, which is also being held in Pittsburgh. But thanks for joining us back. Southgate, why don't you update us on the scores, brother?
Jason Tucker just scored to tie the Boston game 1-1. Everything else is the same.
Yeah, Rangers doing what they can to keep looking like the worst team in that division right now, unfortunately for them. But hey, that's going to boost their odds in the entry draft. Now, last night, of course, we had a lot of action, didn't we, A-Train? Your team got to tag back my team right back after we gave you the tag. I'm not too happy about it. Your boys look good. Did not like the no goal call, though.
I just wanted to interrupt and say one thing. Last night was the absolute craziest night of goal scoring I've ever seen.
Yeah, last night was a weird night in general for just all the games. Blackhawks, for instance.
Did you happen to catch that? Did you happen to catch that 46th goal for Nathan McKinnon for that 6-2 win over the Penguins? Did you catch that?
Yeah, old Nate Dogg leading the way, doing his thing, and Natchez, of course, which I was very happy because I have Natchez in a certain fantasy league, but not happy to see him pull up and do my Penguins dirty. You guys seem to be back to your winning ways, A-Train. The Avs look really good again, which is what they really needed. They needed that boost after just a couple of weird losses there. Especially that one from the Penguins and the weird loss to Dallas that ended up happening there in the overtime. You guys are back 3 in a row, back at the top of the division.
Yep, took down Chicago, took down Graham's Penguins. Things are looking up. We got to make a strong ending to this season.
Yeah, you're the first to eclipse the 100-point mark. The Avalanche sit at 104 points on the season with those pesky Dallas Stars right behind you for 97 points. And, of course, Minnesota rounding out that top trio in the West with 92 points. And the battle for bottom. The Predators are starting to slowly make their way back. Winners of 5 in a row. They're climbing. And the Mammoth don't look very good lately. We had that surge from Clayton Keller for one game, and now they go silent again. I can't explain it. Can you?
No, I don't. Yeah, last night was crazy. There's definitely some games we need to hit on. The Montreal game was pretty crazy. They took down the Hurricanes 5-2. Cole Caulfield scored. Well, Jake Evans sealed it with an empty netter at the end. I caught a lot of that game too, so I watched that one. That was pretty cool. And then the Blackhawks win, the 4-3 win over the Islanders. I caught that one. The shootout in Calgary was probably one of the better ones too that I caught the highlights for. Extended their winning streak to 4 games with a 3-2 victory over the LA Kings.
Yeah, Calgary in that weird Pacific division, of course, with the Kings. I can't believe the Kings are doing this. They're tied. They're right there at the bottom. They're about to be bounced out. The Kraken are right on their heels. I did find out, though, it sounds like mathematically the Sharks are probably not are out of it now for the playoffs. So we'll see what that does for the Macklin Celebrini votes for the Hart Trophy, because typically they do like to select people from playoff teams. So I think this only just
I
pushes...
just want to say last night was so crazy that a laboratory monkey throwing dots at a paper could pick an anytime goal scorer. Like, I've never seen anything like it. It's like every time I turned around, it was goal, 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 goal. It was crazy.
Yeah, what's crazy to me too, was the Blues last night. Also, they blanked the Capitals. The Blues seemed better after all these trades that supposedly they were making to sell.
Right,
and they're 7-1-2 in their last 10 games, winners of their last 2.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and you got guys like Otto Stenberg. Okay, Jordan Kyrou's finally getting back in the swing of things. Jimmy Snuggerud. I'm just the Blues just elude me, and the Capitals for a team that are trying to stay and trying to continue to be considered for that playoff hunt. They're just slowly going the way of Buffalo, unfortunately, with their loss now. 2 in a row, 4-4-2 in the last 10. I think the Capitals might be on their way out the door, and especially the Islanders. Another game last night, the Islanders really needed that win. And just once again, the Islanders couldn't do what needed to be done against the Blackhawks. And of course, that's a regulation win too. They didn't even get a point out of it.
Right. Winnipeg has definitely been kind of a surprise too. They seem to stun these top teams out of nowhere, and they're kind of underdogs and underlooked, in my opinion.
Yeah, Winnipeg is slowly trying to do what they can. That to me, that spot for the Mammoth where they're at right now, that's open. It's open.
Yeah.
The Mammoth have shown they don't want it, and the Predators, if the Predators can get it, that's good.
They're trending up.
Yeah, and I actually like that matchup for the Avs better in the playoffs.
Yeah, that looks like
that's
if the season ended today, Graham, that's who we'd play. I was looking at that today.
Yeah, I thought the Mammoth were going to really turn the corner here. And maybe that was hoping because I like this team. I like seeing them move from the Coyotes and start to have success where they started it in Arizona. And they've kind of carried that here with Logan Cooley, Keller, the young guns, and just seems like they're stalling yet again towards the end of the season. Now, what's going on in the Pacific Division? Just what a mess again. The Oilers continue to just kind of go up and down, up and down, up and down. Last night finally going up. I don't understand this division. The Ducks seem to be the only team that want to win and want to take control of it. And right now, the Ducks face the Kings in the first round, if that's how it goes down. And I feel like the Ducks take that in 5 games.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's going to be like 5 games, and they got it. Yeah, I think you hit it on the head.
Yeah, and the Kings last night, they did themselves no favors, like you said, with that loss to the Flames. They should have won that game. It didn't seem like they wanted it from the jump, maybe besides Panarin.
Yeah.
The Ducks, though, they handled business last night, A-Train. They handled their business the way they needed to against a bad team.
Yep, and they look like they might be a problem. I'm starting to think they might just be a problem.
Yeah, one guy I keep harping on and I talk about a lot, and it's probably because I saw him for a good bit in the Metro. Chris Kreider is doing some good things at the end of the year for them now. He picks up 2 apples last night, and I like that he's there with these young guys. He's been in the playoffs. If he takes them in, I think he's someone who is going to step up, and he's going to help them bust out of that. I think my prediction as of right now, I think the Ducks come out of the Pacific Division against your Avs as of right now heading in. But we do some of these teams 11 games, some of these teams 10 games left. For instance, your Avs, you've still got 12 games to go. A lot can happen in 12 games.
Yep, couldn't agree more, especially with Dallas nipping at our heels again.
Where does Winnipeg sit?
Right now, Winnipeg sits in the Central Division. They're right below the Predators by 5 points at 72 points. I mean, Winnipeg would have to go on one heck of a run to make the playoffs right now. The Predators actually have more of a realistic run.
Because Connor and Sheffley have been playing out of their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the only problem is they're 5-3-2 in the last 10. They're still not getting the wins that they need to pick up. They're getting wins here and there. They got these last 2 victories, but it's still I don't think they're going to get in, but there's still a lot of game left.
Yeah,
you know what? I think they're about 1 or 2 players away. Another goal scorer, and that's going to be a good team.
Yeah, they beat the good teams and then they lose to the bad teams. They're just so up and down. They're unpredictable.
I actually thought Winnipeg's last year team was the team to beat for going into the playoffs. I thought that was their best shot. They let Ehlers walk to go to Carolina. I thought that was a big blow to their front 6, their top 6. And as much as I like Jonathan Taves, and it's been a nice moment seeing him play for them again, I just don't think that provided what they thought it would. and I don't think it gave them the boost that they initially expected. But all respect to Mr. Taves, because coming back from being gone so long, that type of injury, it's impressive.
Right.
And I got to give some credit to Jack Hughes. Again, he's playing great.
He's playing damn good.
Yeah, Jack Hughes and the Devils, they're 7-3 in the last 10. They seem to want to be in that pesky Metro, which is all clogged up except for the Rangers. It seems like the Devils have as good a shot at possibly making that 4 spot. Islanders, like I said, Islanders are starting to teeter a little bit. The Flyers seem to be coming back up. They've been going back and forth with wins, but if the
the
Devils keep winning,
Islanders
they
have
could make it.
cheated ever since Hobart got quiet.
Yeah, Bo Horvat has been quiet lately.
Yes.
He did what, Southgate? He had that one game.
He was on a run for a while where he scored like 4 or 5 straight goals, and there's been nothing out of him in the last 5 games, really.
Yeah, Bo has apparently not known best as of late. Schaefer seems to still be doing what he's doing, but relying on the rookie that much as I believe in Matt Schaefer. Bo Horvat did score the only goal, though, in the last game against Columbus. I'll give him that, but look at the opportunities in that game. That game was a lot better for the Blue Jackets than the Islanders expected. That's why it was so close. But right now, I'm worried about the Blue Jackets, A-Train. And I think I need to discuss the Blue Jackets. They leapfrog the Pens with that loss the Pens had against your boys yesterday, giving us the slap back. And the Blue Jackets have been doing some things here, like we talked about, since changing their coach. Initially, I like the trade for Mason Marchment. He's had 23 points since coming over to them.
Yeah.
And Kirill Marchenko, he is evolving into the player that they expected him to be. I do think it's the head coach, though, bonus. I do think him coming and taking control of this team has really elevated them. And there's someone to worry about, aren't they?
As it stands, who do you think they play right now?
Well, as it stands, and I have to say this, it crushes me to say this, if the playoffs were to start right now, the Columbus Blue Jackets would have home ice advantage for the first time ever in their franchise's history.
Yep.
Against my Penguins.
Against your Penguins. I was waiting for you to say it.
Yeah, against my Penguins. So it's a little bit hurtful to say out loud. Stings me inside.
The Blue Jackets don't scare me, but they're the type of team that gets hot for 2-3 games like series. They could knock somebody out.
Well, the Blue Jackets have guys. Their superstar is Zach Werenski. We saw what he could bring in the Olympics. That guy is someone who does worry me. He's very much a Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, who can skate with the best of them, handle the puck, though. I think he is up there with handling the puck that people don't like to talk about him, up there with Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes. When I think of those guys, puck handling defensemen, for me, Werenski's right there with those guys. I respect him that much. But what I like from this team is guys like Adam Fantilli, who are playing hard. Mason Marchment, like I said, he is a big guy who can score points, but he plays gritty. Damon Severson, he is a gritty guy. He's starting to play better for them. Like I said, Kirill Marchenko, he is an absolute sniper when he needs to be. They've got a lot. Boone Jenner. They've got a lot of guys who are just tough, and it looks like their coach, Bonus, was the right guy to get them moving in the right direction. Like yesterday, for example, they take down it kind of made me happy because it is the Flyers. I'm all about that life. I'm all about watching the Flyers lose, but not when it benefits the Blue Jackets and they leapfrog the Pens. Unfortunately, I was switching between that game and the game against our teams, and I'm watching, and the whole time I'm like, all right, after one, Flyers are up 1-0. All right, go Flyers. Doesn't feel good. Columbus, two goals in the second, and you could tell right then and there the game had changed. So I'm worried.
Now, I have to be honest with you, Graham. The one guy that's impressed me on Pittsburgh is Carlson.
Carlson's been on a run.
Yes.
Carlson's been on one of
He
the
didn't have
best
the
runs of
best
his
game
career.
last night, but before that, he's been playing very well.
Carlson's been on a run. He's been on one of the best runs of his career. I think actually Eric Carlson, even with Sidney Crosby, is the MVP of the team this year. The way he has bounced back from initially coming to the Penguins and not doing so well, but I do believe that was because of Mike Sullivan coaching. Mike Sullivan wanted to use Eric Carlson in a way that Carlson wasn't comfortable with, which he has said in interviews, kind of taking some backhanded shots at Sully. But, Carlson right now, as it stands, I think he should be in the Norris conversation, given the season that he's had. Maybe not the Norris winner, but I do believe he's someone who should be mentioned. But the Penguins need to turn it around. They're losers of 2 now. My boys need to step it back up, especially Southgate's Carolina. I'm always going to say the Southgate's elected team because he's not a true New Yorker. He doesn't root for his New York team.
It's actually funny. A friend of mine who's the big Ranger fan, real hockey guy, and I told him I've been doing a hockey podcast, and he started grilling me right away with questions like, about. I said, yeah, I became a Carolina fan. He said, yeah, they're a great team, but they choke in the playoffs every year.
So far.
He's not wrong.
So far. Yeah, so far Carolina hasn't done the best job with a lot of good talent. They still have a lot of good talent, and some people think that this is their year. We don't know. It could be. Now, with the games tonight, Southgate, anything interesting happen? I still see that the scores are the same, so I assume
it's
not.
in between periods right now,
So we got some intermissions, and we are going to touch on one last thing here today, which once again, we have to talk about player safety in the NHL. Seems to be now a common occurrence it seems at the end of every season. We take some time to focus on what is goaltender interference, or what isn't goaltender interference, what is a hit from behind, what isn't a hit from behind. A-Train, I'm going to go ahead and point this out from the Pens game yesterday. That goal should have counted. In my eyes all day.
I'm not going to argue with you on this one.
I don't think it would have mattered.
That's the problem. Is it how much would it have really affected the game?
It wouldn't have mattered. But AJ Greer just absolutely demolishes Zari, who, if anybody watched what happened, Zari right away hits the ice and grabs the back of his neck right at the base.
All right, So 3-game suspensions handed out with a $13,000 fine for this. The punishment was too light. Let's start off there. What I saw from it, is you got an intentional hook by Zari, right? Greer delivers a 2-handed shove to his upper back and shoves him right into the danger zone, and he just smacks the boards, right? Head first, just bam, bang, bang, right? Everyone's saying it's a dirty play. He was about 4 to 5 feet from the boards, and he took it. He didn't get up right away, and he didn't play the following game. So, it was what I'm reading is a lot of fans are saying this was a malicious and unnecessary hit, and the punishment was too light.
I watched the hit. I saw it happen in real time. I don't condone what Zari did. Obviously, it is what it is, but that doesn't warrant someone like that to just go ahead and chop you from behind. And like I said, I saw what happened. Zari slid to the ice, and the first thing he did as he's laying there is he's grabbing the back right there. And that's worrisome for any fan. Just even as a player, I wonder what's going through his mind. But I just want to point out 2 other suspensions this year in this trend of George Parros not doing a good enough job, in my opinion. Radko Guda.
Yep.
We know what happened there. Okay. Austin Matthews, knee on knee. He only got 5 games. Okay. He only got 5 games. Now, what did they do to compensate for that? They fined him $100K.
Now, Graham, what do you feel the suspension should have been?
For Guda, the knee on knee action, he's a repeat offender, someone who has been in trouble with this type of situation before. I think that's at least a 10 to 15 gamer, in my opinion. You have to send a message that you can't be doing these type of things. Guys like Radko Guda, they cannot be given permission to do these type of things. 5 games is not enough. And
Now, can I ask you a question? When these guys get fined, is it the player or the team that pays the penalty?
It's comes out of the player's salary. It's salary forfeited. So Radko
Do the
Guda,
teams normally refund them, you think, or what?
that's something I haven't dove into too much, knowing how things
Only
work.
because I know
I'm
NHL
sure they
players
do something.
Yeah, NHL players don't make the most money in the world, so maybe hitting them in the pocket is the best way to do it.
Well, and I'm sure, like you said, there might be some way that the team helps maybe compensate for some of that, or kind of a give back situation, like, because as you can see, that's where the majority of these last couple fines. Radko Guda, 104 grand. Evgeny Malkin, I thought the game for him for his 2-handed chop was too short. I thought he should have been given 10 games. He's done that once before in his career. You have to be stern about this type of thing. I don't think he was suspended long enough. And okay, you fined him 150 grand. Great. He did this once before. He did it this far away from that incident. You got to send a message. I just don't think the NHL knows how to punish people properly when it comes to these situations. And I get some of these A-Train, you and I have seen hits before that are just split second. That's it. It just happens. Unavoidable, right? What do you think of these suspensions lately, though, besides the AJ Greer one?
They're too light. They need to start laying down the law. We're going to see this more and more. I mean, I get this is a physical sport and people get their teeth chopped out, and there's big hits all over the boards, and it's a savage sport. But at the same time, you got to hold these guys accountable. I've going flashing back to a Todd Bertuzzi, hacking somebody in the head. I mean, some of these people should be thrown out of the league for some of the shit that's been pulled. But I think punishment's too light. I think we kind of see eye to eye on this.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how in the future this advances. In the playoffs, they do get to be more strict. What can you do, right? We know about this. We know how it goes. But what I cannot stand is watching a suspension be dished out to a guy like Brian Rust, who gets 3 games, and that's the first time he's ever been in a situation like that. And that suspension for hitting Brock Besser, the guy we were discussing earlier, wasn't even something that was done specifically of his own accord. The context of the play had to be taken into account. Whereas the context of the play for Radko Guda was he just stuck that knee out there and took Austin Matthews out for the season. That's all there is to it. And Radko Guda's going to be in the playoffs, A-Train. He's going to be in the playoffs with the Ducks.
Crazy, huh? This is nuts.
So,
at least we're bringing attention to everybody and spotlighting it, because this is probably something they're not going to talk about on a mainstream plot, like a ESPN and stuff like that.
So I have one more question about teams that are playing well. Tampa Bay, could they be one of the sneakier teams?
So Tampa Bay is not sneaky because everybody expects this from them. This is what Tampa Bay is good year in, year out. They have been for quite some time. Plus, ever since they won the back-to-back cups there in the early 20s with the Avalanche following them there. That's people expect it. But what's unexpected is the Buffalo Sabres. That's what's going to be the wild card of that playoff divisional round. As of right now, Buffalo is going to be facing the Bruins. And if anybody watched the last couple games, I think the Bruins are on the downward trend. And everybody watch out for the Senators, because the Senators, who had lost 3 games to the Red Wings, took one from them yesterday that the Red Wings should have won. And the Red Wings look now that they have put themselves in a position to possibly not even be able to make the playoffs. So watch out for the Senators, Sabres. They're not a team to sneeze at, especially if you got a Kachuk on the ice. You better watch out.
Well, I mean,
Tom,
on the Senators,
Cousins
have been playing great.
Yeah, Cousins have been playing great. I'm more interested. I'm really, I'm interested to see how the Canadians finish because I do. We talked about we're excited for their
Yeah,
future,
no, we
right?
know they have the talent there. They have the
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. But what I'm interested in is Southgate. You asked about the Lightning. That would be the team they face right now. The Lightning would have home ice advantage against the Canadians, and looking lo and behold, who's the head coach of the Canadians? Former Lightning great Martin St. Louis, who has taken hold of these youngsters and been able to get them to play together so well. I think that would be an interesting series. And I think if that's the series that the Lightning start with, we might see 7 games and we might see an upset just because with Martin coaching, he was always an underdog. He knows what it's like to be an underdog, and he'll coach that team where they need to be.
Now it looks like um besides Colorado and even over Dallas, the Lightning have the least goals against in the NHL at 195.
Right now, their goals against differential, yes, yes. Well, their goals against is 195, yes,
Yes.
but it's their differential is so nice. But if you watch the way the Lightning have played this year, some of it they play a lot of chance type of games sometimes
Now,
that I
just
that I don't
fill
like to
me
I
in.
don't find successful right now.
Yeah, just fill me in to educate me. Is that more towards they have great defenders or their goaltender is that good?
Well, Vasilevsky is fantastic.
Okay.
He is, yes, he is in his 30s, and a goaltender in their 30s is sometimes a little bit worrisome, especially Vasi. He has had back to back cups. Um, but because of what they have up front, is what makes them dangerous. Now, Radish is a younger defenseman. Hedman, always got to worry about. Hedman is still there. Hedman is a very big
Radish,
guy who can still
I
score.
enjoy.
Yeah, Radish, though, I am really impressed with. Now, who needs to get going, Southgate, is a guy you've been frustrated with since he's been back playing, is Braden Point.
Yeah, he actually scored last night finally.
Yeah, Braden Point, he finally got a point last night. Where he is most valuable is the face-off circle, too. Braden Point on the face-off circle is where they need him, especially on special teams. But I'm not I think the Lightning are a team to watch out for in that division. I'm not sure if they're going to come out because, like I said, if they face the Canadians in the first round, that might take a lot out of them.
Yeah.
And then if they got to face the Sabres after that, Sabres are a big team.
Yeah. That's
Tage
rough sledding.
Thompson is a big guy, isn't he?
I'm
A-Train?
actually excited for
He's
the
so
playoffs.
damn good.
He is really good. I think Tage Thompson, I like that he's having this season. I like the Sabres having this season. It's good for the NHL.
It is.
Buffalo Sabres being dogs for so long, being dogged down. It's good to see them come back, and it's still 1-1 starting in the second right now. Another team I'm concerned about is the Senators as well. I think if they get in, the Sabres have to be concerned about them. That Atlantic, Sabres, Lightning, and Senate and Canadians. That's a tough go for anybody in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it's actually 3-0 Toronto, Dakota, Joseph.
Wow, Toronto trying to put the spoiler game in.
Yeah.
I do not like what's happening. This, like you said, A-Train, what a weird day yesterday. And now we're having this happen today.
Yeah, of course we did our player profile, and now Toronto's playing good. So go figure off.
Yeah, it just seems to be the way it goes. But guys, we appreciate you holding it down with us today. I know it's a little bit of a shorter episode, but that's good because we've got plenty of action coming for the next episode. We are, again, going to be doing 2 players because we got to get some of these bad teams out of the way who aren't going to make the playoffs so we can talk about the good players, long form, who are in the playoffs. I'm excited to talk about a Penguin player at some point. Who knows? I might have to talk about him sooner given the next 10 games. If they start trending downward, might have to hit them next week, depending on where they stand. We don't know. But I know one thing, Southgate is going to keep rooting for the Hurricanes. They're going to keep crushing my Pens because that's what they do this year. A-Train's Avalanche are going to keep going upwards and onwards. They're going to win that President's Trophy. And I'm telling you, one of us is going to bring a Stanley Cup back home to Not Move this year. One of us. But thanks, guys, for sticking around.
I'm
A-Train, anything
excited.
you want to leave us with, brother?
I'm sorry, Grump.
Anything you want to leave us with, Southgate, before we head on out of here?
No, I'm excited. Look forward to next week, and I'll come with more points. But the only thing I want to leave you with, if Hagel and Point lock in for Tampa Bay, I do see them being a serious problem.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is someone who I am I'm looking forward to seeing in the playoffs this year. Like I said, I'm excited for the Atlantic Division playoffs in general, the top 3 teams. I'm so pumped for the playoffs this year. Feels new, feels different this year than the last few years. I can't wait to see how the divisional playoffs shake out for the Avs. We've still got plenty of time, plenty of games left to see how it all shapes up. A-Train, anything you want to leave us with before we get out of here, brother?
Nah, just praying for the downfall of the Dallas Stars. That's really it.
Well, if that's what you're praying for, I'm praying right there with you, because at Not Move, we stand together always 10 toes down. So thank you, everyone, for joining us once again. We'll see you this time next Thursday, though, 8 o'clock. We wanted to do this tonight this time so we can let you March Madness it up tomorrow. Go catch that opening day baseball. Thanks for being with us, Not Move, in the Wickets. See you next time.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.